All right, everybody. Welcome to the California Democratic Renters Council July 2024 meeting, our local candidates forum. My name is Alfred Chu. I'm the secretary of the Renters Council, just taking over for today as Mari, our chair, is not available at the moment. We've got a couple other board members on the call. Would you like to just give a quick intro, Esther?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Esther Malkin. I'm the board member at large representing the Central Coast. And I'm very excited that we have quite a few candidates tonight from our area. I think it's the most we've had in the past. And I look forward to hearing what everybody has to say and going through the endorsement process again. And I wore my cat lady t-shirt tonight for being childless, a childless cat lady.
All right. And Vinnie.
All right, give me one sec. I'm Vinnie Bacon. I'm the treasurer, and yeah, I can give a treasurer's report. You'll have to give me a few minutes to kind of get settled here, but I'm happy to be here.
Okay, yeah, don't worry about the treasurer's report here for tonight.
Well, I'll give it very briefly. Once, okay. Give me a few minutes.
All right, Larry.
Yeah, Esther, I'll do you one better. I have my cat here. so that's fuzzy for Kamala. I'm Larry Gross. I'm a board member of the Renters Council. I'm also California Democratic Party Region 14 director, as well as the director of the Coalition for Economic Survival, which is probably the oldest and leading renters' rights organization in Los Angeles. So good to see everyone here.
All right, thank you. So we've got some candidates with time constraints who need to go by 8 o'clock. I have Kate, Vinnie, Dominique, and Danny down for that. If there's anybody else with time constraints, please let us know in the chat and we will get you scheduled. In the meantime, let's go to our first candidate. First one we have here is Kate Harrison. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Alfred and everyone. It's really great to see everybody here. I've been a longtime tenant advocate. I grew up as a tenant. I had divorced parents and we lived in an apartment in the peninsula. I know what it's like to be a tenant in a place where there are a lot of wealthier people around you. And I represented the tenant heaviest district in Berkeley, other than the student district, District 4 downtown, where over 60% of people were tenants. So I understand renters' needs. I don't come to this issue for the first time. When I was in graduate school, I worked with the California legislature on providing affordable and accessible housing to farm workers. I worked for California Rural Legal Assistance on the first just cause protections in California, which were later, unfortunately, overturned by the governor. I worked on issues involving housing in Berkeley, including the first rent control work in 1979, followed by the ballot measure in 1980. The U1 tax, which is a tax on large landlords, which is bringing in about $6 million a year. I've also, while in office, passed the empty homes tax, bringing in $6 million a year, helped write the demolition ordinance protecting tenants, wrote the eviction moratorium for both low-income residential and commercial tenants. I authored the sanctioned encampment for homeless people in downtown Berkeley, in West Berkeley, rather. I was able to work through the Affordable Housing Action Plan with the mayor that allowed us to set up the land trust and buy dilapidated properties in our city. All of these things are actions that help us maintain the housing we have now and make sure we protect tenants for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Our next candidate will be Vinnie Bacon.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm sorry. I'm at an ice rink and it's a little loud. I'm going to do a combined treasurer's report / candidate statement. Our treasury right now, we have $4,066. Alfred, actually, can you pick someone else and then I'll go?
Yeah, I'll come back to you next. Next, let's have Dominique Walker. You have 2 minutes. And followed by that will be Danny.
Hello, everyone. I see some familiar faces. Is glad to be back here and be a part of this process. I'm Dominique Walker. I am an activist. I'm a mother, and I'm formerly houseless. And I'm running for the Berkeley Rent Stabilization Board on a progressive pro-tenant slate as an incumbent. I'm running for a second term to continue to protect renters in the city of Berkeley. While in office, we were able to do some great things, and most notably to myself was to pass Measure MM during the pandemic, which offered additional protections that resulted in 0 evictions. I believe that local elections are going to be very important this year, and I'm committed to protecting renters in the city of Berkeley, supporting local organizations and legislation that supports affordable housing, and also additional protections for tenants. I also want to partner with other cities and join with them as they fight to develop rent control.
All right. Thank you, Dominique. And next we have Dan Hall. I believe, oh, actually we have 2 Dans on here. Let me check which one it was. Danny Hang, candidate for West Hollywood. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, board members and candidates. My name is Danny Hang, and I'm running for West Hollywood City Council. I am a child of Chinese Vietnamese immigrants who came here after the Vietnam War in search of hope, freedom, and the American dream. And I was very lucky that I was born here in the US. And I'm running for West Hollywood City Council. And one of my top priorities, if lucky enough to be elected, is to expand affordable housing in our city by building coalitions on the city council to get more projects completed, as well as protect renters' rights. And that will be done by my support of Proposition 33. I will be supportive of that proposition. I'll reach out to elected leaders in the state, to the voters, to get it passed. And that will be my commitment to protect and expand renters' rights. West Hollywood comprises of 80% renters in our city. I myself am a renter. So I will work with our mayor, with our vice mayor, as well as with our council members to ensure that that will happen. And I will work to expand our affordable housing in the city. Some of my opponents are against building more affordable housing. And I want to make sure that it doesn't happen so I can get on the council to move projects through to expand affordable housing in our city. And I hope I can count on your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. All right, so our next candidates, we have Dan Hall and Vinnie. Are you going to be ready after that?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Dan, you have 2 minutes.
Great. Thanks, Alfred. Thank you to the steering committee. Thank you for the members for having us tonight. My name is Dan Hall. I use he, him pronouns for those who might only be listening or are hard of hearing. I am a tall, slender white man wearing a light gray shirt with light brown hair. I'm a renter. I am an Army veteran, a former vice president of the Santa Monica Democratic Club, and chair of the Santa Monica Peer Board. I have been a steadfast advocate for renters in Santa Monica, knocking on hundreds of doors to pass a 3% cap on our rent adjustments, and to pass a transfer tax that provides millions of dollars for affordable housing, deed-restricted affordable housing in our public schools. I've advocated at City Hall for increased protections against Ellis Act abuse and misuse, and I support the Justice for Renters Act and the repeal of Costa-Hawkins. If I'm elected to City Council, I will absolutely fight to reinstate vacancy control and look for opportunities to increase our rent-controlled housing stock. I'm running to restore progressive values to our council on a platform of clean and safe streets and neighborhoods, housing affordability and inclusivity, and a return to good government. I'm endorsed by Santa Monicans for Renters' Rights, the Santa Monica Democratic Club, Councilmember Carolyn Terosis, Rent Control Board Member Anastasia Foster, plus 2 other rent control board members. SMER co-chairs Denny Zane and Mike Soloff, and over 45 current and former Santa Monica elected officials and appointed officials. Super excited to be here tonight. Would be honored to earn your endorsement. Thanks so much for your support.
Thank you, Dan. Vinnie, you are up next.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry to be so difficult. I just have to get in a hockey game to get in some exercise and keep myself. As mentioned, I am the treasurer of the Renters Council. I have been here so for 3 years. If I may say, I have done a good job. We now have $4,066 exactly in our bank account. I've got the things running smoothly, so all the ActBlue donations go right into our bank account. We have credit card, we have checks. We're good to go, and we got a lot of money to help renters out. And I'm so proud to be a part of this group for the last 3 years. I am running right now to be the mayor of Fremont, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have, as a city council member, I served there for 8 years. I brought a referral for rent stabilization. It was not successful. My opponent, and who is one of the council members at the time, did not go for it. And I was alone in voting for just cause eviction and some form of rent stabilization in Fremont. My opponent is a landlord with 250 rental units in Alameda County. He has consistently voted with the landlords and the Rental Housing Association on the board. Anyway, I think that's enough for me. I'm going to put if I can figure out how to do it, I'm going to put a link to a video I made about me being the renters candidate in YouTube. And yes, I just saw Esther's thing. Please renew. We don't have a membership director, so as the treasurer, I'm kind of also the membership director here. Anyway, that's enough for me. And thanks again. And again, my apologies for being difficult. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Vinnie. So next up, we will have Natalya.
Let's see, I'm trying to start the video. Sorry, I'm on another computer right now than my usual one.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So good evening, y'all. My name is Natalya Zernitskaya, and I'm running for Santa Monica City Council. It's an at-large seat. We do not have districts. I've been part of the Santa Monica community for over a decade, and the entire time, positive future for Santa Monica and to progress and protecting our progressive values. My family and I were able to come to this country because we were Jewish refugees from the former Soviet Union. We arrived with only a few $100s, and we were so incredibly lucky that we landed in a place where people had the foresight to develop vital safety nets like rent control. If it wasn't for that first rent control department, I'm not sure that we would have been able to be as successful as we have been. I know what it's like to have to rely on safety nets provided by the government and community-serving nonprofits, and I know what it's like to fear losing them. In Santa Monica, I previously served as the president of the League of Women Voters of Santa Monica for 4 years and previously served on the city's audit subcommittee, in addition to currently serving as the recording secretary of the Santa Monica Democratic Club and the Virginia Avenue Park Advisory Board and on other local boards. Professionally, I work in the financial services industry as a financial analyst. I am a I am a renter living in a rent-controlled unit, for which I am very grateful. I have fought to protect rent control in Santa Monica. I have endorsed the Justice for Renters Act, and I very much hope that we can repeal Costa-Hawkins this November. I've been endorsed by Santa Monicans for Renters' Rights, the Santa Monica Democratic Club, and a host of individuals and organizations who are committed to progressive values. And I would be honored to have your endorsement this evening. Oh, and I'm a delegate to the California Democratic Party and on the Rules Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalya. Next, I saw Nancy Barba. Are you ready? All right, let's see who else had an early time constraint.
I'm ready. Oh, sorry.
Great.
Sorry. Let me just make sure. Okay. Hi, my name is Nancy Barba, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a candidate for Culver City Council. I kind of decided to run because previously I had been on the Finance Advisory Committee, advocating for care-centered budgeting. Then on the Planning Commission, and in that role had the privilege of seeing how the housing element in the general plan was being updated. And throughout that time, I just saw that there's just insufficient support for more housing and insufficient support for rent control and tenant protections. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I was part of the advocates and organizers that helped ensure that we put a rent control moratorium or a rent increase moratorium, and as an emergency, and then later was able to make that permanent. But there, with every city council election, there is an interest in eroding them. I've spoken to single moms that have had to move mid-school year because they have, their rent has gone up by 30%. And it is not right. So I stand by renters, and I also stand by legalizing the opportunities for more housing. I am on the Sierra Club Executive Committee and endorsed by Sierra Club, endorsed by Westside Young Democrats, and also endorsed by Culver City Democratic Club. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope you will endorse me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. And next we will have Carroll Fife.
Good evening, everyone. I saw some familiar faces in the crowd as well. I have folks as far away as LA. Larry, it's good to see you. But I'm running because we started something when I ran in 2020 that needs to continue. We started a movement to make housing a human right in the state of California that actually got traction through ACA 1. And I'm running to finish that work in terms of my contribution to the work that we're all doing. In 2022, I passed several pieces of legislation, including Article 34 support to be reformed at the state level. I passed SCA 2, the support of the resolution to get rid of that regressive measure that doesn't allow certain communities to advocate for affordable housing in their neighborhoods. So I advocated to get rid of that. I ran on a platform to create more affordable housing for renters throughout the city of Oakland. And I also passed a ballot measure that won with huge margins to allow Oakland to develop social housing units in the city. I worked on Measure U, that was our affordable housing bond to bring $850 million to affordable housing facilities as well as other institutions, and on Measure V, to extend just cause renter protections in the city of Oakland. I've worked on every campaign to repeal Costa-Hawkins every time it comes up at the statewide level, as well as things that we've done on a local level, like passing one of the strongest CPI caps in the country, capping rents at 3%. I worked on a rent registry for the city of Oakland. And in 2023, I'm supporting constituent services that allow my constituents to have greater voice in their processes by bringing them into community meetings, which is something that's never been done with the directors of our housing departments and other departments as well. So I'm running to finish the job.
All right. Thank you, Carol. And next we will have Charles Hansen.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Charles Hansen, and I'm running for San Mateo City Council District 2 with extensive experience in nonprofit leadership, including my current role as Chief Program Officer at Peninsula Family Service. I've dedicated my career to building family service programs and advocating for our community. As a tenant myself and a supporter of One San Mateo, I'm deeply committed to ensuring safe and affordable housing for all residents. I advocate for the repeal of Costa-Hawkins and the implementation of rent control measures to protect all tenants from unjust evictions. Additionally, I believe that sustainable initiatives like weatherization and rooftop solar should be accessible to renters, helping to reduce energy costs and promote environmental stewardship. My campaign is driven by a desire to create a better future for my son and for every family in San Mateo. I'm committed to sustainable infrastructure, affordable housing, and public safety. This is not just about winning a seat, it's about making meaningful changes that uplift unrepresented voices and provide real opportunities for everyone in San Mateo. An endorsement from the California Democratic Renters Council would greatly bolster my efforts to advocate for tenant rights and sustainable living solutions in the community. Together, we can make San Mateo a vibrant and inclusive place for everyone. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next, we will have JP Sahi.
Good evening, members and candidates. I'm going to be brief. My race is a little different. I'm JP Sahi, and I'm running for New Haven Unified School District, Area 1, which is an open seat. And I'm an immigrant, first generation, and a lifelong Democrat. I'm also a delegate to the state party. And I'm also a renter, and I support progressive policies on rental housing. Today, I'm a little concerned because our campaign just found out that we have a Moms for Liberties candidate. And, you know, I'm a parent of an 8th grader, and I run free medical clinics in the San Francisco Bay Area, which I'm CEO of. And I've earned the endorsements of Assembly members Liz Ortega, Alex Lee, and State Senator Aisha Wahab. And I hope that I can receive the endorsement of the Renters Council. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And next up, we will have John Erickson.
Hello, everyone. It's Mayor John Erickson from the city of West Hollywood. I hope you're all having a great time. Here I am in my rent-stabilized apartment in the city of West Hollywood. I am running for re-election to the city council this November. We have had an incredible last 4 years, not only doing what other cities are trying to do right now by implementing better renter protections, which I authored, including even capping our rents already at 3% in rent-stabilized housing once COVID emergencies orders ended, and increasing the affordable housing in the city, specifically by making sure that individuals who didn't want an 100% affordable unit housing project in the city saw that appeal denied, so we can bring actual affordable housing units here. I am a member of many clubs, many of you I know. I'm on the California Democratic Party Legislative Committee, including the LACDP Legislative Committee. My day job is I'm the Vice President of Planned Parenthood Los Angeles. And here in West Hollywood, we are working to continue the progressive momentum we've done, protecting those that needed the most with our social services that we've invested over $1 million in the last year in, as well as doing all that we can to look towards the future. The city of West Hollywood is one of the only cities on the west side that has had record budget surpluses in the last 2 fiscal years. The first year when I was vice mayor, we had a $20+ million budget surplus, and this year as mayor, we have $31 million in the budget that we are now investing directly into the communities that need them the most. This is being done in a time where people have said that we can't do progressive things, but in West Hollywood, we have the highest minimum wage, including the historic sick and vacation leave provisions, including making sure workers are at the table. There is so much at stake here in this election. There is so much at stake here nationally. I'm continuing the fight because it's the right thing to do. When a former disgraced council member asked me why I voted for the minimum wage, like I did in 2022, because it was just not the right time, I looked them square in the face and I said it was the right thing to do. What would you do in that time when you had to make $19 an hour? Or at that time, it was 16, because in 2015, the city of West Hollywood did not join the Fight for 15 campaign. And that was not only something that I promised individuals that if I ever got into a position of power to fix, but it was one of the first items I brought forth. We are doing all that we can here in our 1.9 square miles, investing in our cities and ensuring that West Hollywood remains that liberal beacon of progress while making sure people stay in their homes, they're happy, they're healthy, and we invest in all the right things that we need to do. I would love to have your support, and I would love seeing all of you, and I'll see you all here soon in Chicago when we elect Kamala Harris with our DNC, and then make sure she comes home here in November, and doing all that we can to fight back against everything. Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next we have Rowena Brown, and then after that, Avery Arbaugh.
Excellent. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Rowena Brown, and I'm running for Oakland City Council at large. As a lifelong renter since the age of 17, after losing both of my parents, I understand the daily struggles and uncertainties that renters face. I've experienced firsthand the stress of rising rent and just the overall need for secure, decent, and a stable home. My personal journey has informed my commitment to advocating for stronger community safety nets and prioritizing the rights and needs of renters. And I'm someone who's deeply committed to service to the community as a community activist, former eighth grade civics education teacher, constituent coordinator for the city of Oakland during the COVID-19 pandemic, where I had the opportunity to really work on behalf of the East Oakland community, providing valuable resources at a time that was really needed the most. And in recent years, in my current role as district director to State Assembly Member Mia Bonta, I've had the opportunity to work on legislation that was really focused on supporting, for example, teacher workforce housing, and really leading on efforts to help reduce toxic emissions and environmental hazards, such as AB 2851, which is actually a few steps away from being signed by the governor this year. And so such efforts like these really help to ensure that our homes and our communities are safe and healthy, and just in general to support the overall well-being of folks in our renters in our community. And I think that in order to be successful in the role as a council member, it's going to require collaboration across all levels of government, both local, county, and state level, and in order to ensure that Oakland receives its fair share of resources. And these are all things that I am doing in my current role as district director. And I think lastly, I'll just uplift, my campaign is currently endorsed by our Attorney General, Rob Bonta, of course, Assemblymember Bonta, the Building and Construction Trade, and many more. And so would really love the support of the Renters Council, and just know that I'm fully committed to serving, advocating, and continuing to champion renter protection. So thank you all so much for having me, and I'll see you all soon.
All right, thank you, Rowena. Next, we have Avery.
Hello, my name is Avery Arbaugh. I'm a formerly homeless tenant, a student at UC Berkeley, a labor commissioner for the city of Berkeley, the former president of the Cal Berkeley Democrats, and a Berkeley Tenants Union member. This year, I'm running for the Berkeley Rent Board with the mandate of the Berkeley Tenant Convention, which is a biannual convention of hundreds of tenants and progressive organizations in Berkeley to select the pro-tenant progressive slate for Berkeley's Rent Board. And this year, the slate is myself, Alfred Twu, Dominique Walker, and Xavier Johnson. I am running for Berkeley's Rent Board because in Berkeley right now, our tenant protections are under attack by corporate landlord-funded PACs. And I believe that in the face of this, we need representatives who will be consistent advocates for preserving tenant protections, not weakening them. And I also believe in the power of Berkeley's Rent Board to be a really constructive, really great tool for creating tenant protections and working class power. And I believe that power isn't passive though, and we need to keep fighting. I think my student experience as a student, as a tenant, and as someone who's formerly homeless, I am uniquely qualified to do outreach to a lot of the most vulnerable communities of renters in Berkeley. And if I'm elected, I promise my seat will be a seat for the tenants and for the tenants' rights movement at large. I would love to get the endorsement of the California Democratic Renters Council, and I would love to see our tenants movement thrive this next election. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Avery. And at this point, I think we've gotten everybody who had a time constraint. If there's anyone else here with a time constraint, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, if you're a candidate and haven't spoken yet, please raise your hand. All right. I'm going to start going down the list. We have Cari Templeton first, followed by Warren Logan. Cari, are you ready?
I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be here. And it's inspiring to hear everybody else talking about the things they've done. I'm Cari Templeton. I'm running for Palo Alto City Council. And if you're at all familiar with our city, you know that we have some challenges in this area. And I wanted to share some stories with you. I put some information in the chat, but our renter population is over 40%. And as for me, just have experienced some housing instability with my extended family and their children, and it's been very difficult on them to constantly housing insecure. And I've been a renter for many years before I became a homeowner. And I've seen a lot of my friends and coworkers have to leave due to rent hikes and a scarcity of new places to move to here. So I am currently a planning and transportation commissioner, and we are finally piloting a renter registry in the city, which will begin this fall. And I'm very excited about that. And I've been working on approving affordable housing projects as well. And we have a 100% affordable teacher housing project on our docket this year. And so far I have already voted to support it, but it will be coming back to us. And we're hoping that we can have a really good outcome there. So with that, I wanted to let you know I have been endorsed in the past by the CA Democratic Renters Council, and I hope you'll support me this time as well. And we really want to have a powerful voice on the council for people who rent in our community. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Cari. And first, we're going to go to Ambriz, who has a time constraint. And then after that, we will go to Warren. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ambriz. I was recently appointed to the Santa Monica Rent Control Board in June 13th, and I'm now running to retain my seat this November. I'm uniquely qualified for this position because I bring relevant educational background, professional involvement, and lived experience. It's only because of renter protection programs that I'm able to stand where I am today. Growing up, I experienced homelessness. My mother worked through the system and was fortunate to receive Section 8 housing when I was in high school. I was very aware and appreciative of our housing circumstance. My passion to become an advocate and one day a public servant was ignited. Immediately after high school, I interned at the Housing Rights Center, taking calls regarding housing discrimination issues. During college, I took an internship at the Coalition for Economic Survival, where I learned about the dangers of lead-based paint in older buildings, among other issues. I campaigned on the No on Prop 98, Yes on Prop 99 effort. After graduating from Occidental College, I attended Hastings Law School, where I continued my interest in housing rights issues. I interned at the Eviction Defense Collaborative in San Francisco, where I assisted in many unlawful detainer cases. In 2015, I found my home in Santa Monica and became a social services commissioner. In 2019, the commission was merged. I've been active in Santa Monicans for Renters' Rights as a member, later a steering committee member, and as a hotliner, and they've also endorsed me for this campaign. I assisted callers with their issues and directed them with appropriate resources. Now I'd like to use my lived experience and education to help others serving on the Rent Control Board. This endorsement from the Renters Council would mean a great deal to my campaign because of your mission supporting tenant protections, and it aligns with my values. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, Kay. And next we'll go to Warren. And after that will be Gino.
Small world, Kay and I went to college together. Hi, Kay. Thank you for having me today. My name is Warren Logan, and I'm running for Oakland City Council District 3. As a city planner for over 10 years, I'm here to express my unwavering commitment to tenants' rights, to share my vision for a more equitable Oakland, and to earn your endorsement. I believe that all renters deserve to live in housing that is affordable, dignified, stable, and surrounded by opportunity. To ensure housing affordability, I fully support the repeal of Costa-Hawkins to allow for newer units to transition into rent control. Additionally, I support implementing social housing measures by buying private housing units and moving them into public trust. And at the same time, Oakland must use already available bond funding to build new deed-restricted affordable housing units on public lands. Affordable housing cannot equate to dilapidated, unsafe housing either. To ensure that all renters live in dignity, we must create mandates and incentives to retrofit older pre-1984 buildings. This includes ensuring that they meet modern standards for fire and earthquake safety. Supporting tenants also means ensuring stability through strong tenant protections and emergency financial assistance. I believe we should also repeal the Ellis Act, which has been misused to displace tenants here in the Bay Area. Once elected as council member, I will advocate for the creation of an emergency rental assistance program that can prevent homelessness by providing shallow subsidies to those at risk. Supporting renters shouldn't stop at housing, though. Our city must create neighborhoods of opportunity. I strongly support transit-oriented development that provides tenants with access to sustainable transportation options and access to resource-rich job centers. I will also advocate for policies that invite neighborhood investment for shared community needs like grocery stores and safe places to gather. I'm committed to being a champion for renters and ensuring that Oakland is a city where everyone has access to safe, affordable housing. With your endorsement, we can work together to create a more just and equitable community for all residents. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Warren. Next up, we will have Gino Garcia.
Thank you, Alfred, and thank you, everyone, for sharing your story. It's really amazing to be a part of this group that's so passionate about housing throughout the state. My name is Gino Garcia. I'm running for City Council District 4 in the city of Monterey. I'm relatively new to local government. I was appointed to council about 1.5 years ago. And the reason I put my name in the hat was because I see a variety of issues in my community and wanted to make sure that somebody was speaking out and really organizing efforts around pushing things that we need in our community. So this year I'm running for election. I guess not quite re-election because I wasn't elected, but I'm running for election this year with the hopes that together in a district now that is a campaign that's happening for the first time in the history of our city, together we can really focus in on the issues that are really impacting our community. So a little story about me in terms of where my perspective comes from. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, the son of an immigrant family from Guatemala. And I lived in the heart of South Central. I saw my family struggling with housing challenges, the availability, the affordability, to certain points where my parents didn't really have the resources to take care of their kids and to provide a roof. So that's really where I'm coming from. I'm supporting policy that hopefully will impact in a positive and more direct way in our city, supporting policy like renter assistance program and the rental registry that we have already passed and developing. So that's what I'm hoping to do. And with your endorsement, I think that would be a great impact for our community. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Gino. Next, we have Jesse Gunn.
Hello, my name is Jesse Gunn and I use he, him pronouns. I'm running for AC Transit Director for Ward 6, which covers my hometown of Hayward, Newark, and unincorporated Fairview. I just wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm a father, a teacher, a labor organizer, and a frequent transit rider. I'm also a renter in a rent-controlled unit and have been a renter for my whole life. A little bit of my background in being a renter. 3 months after my father had passed away, my mom received an illegal 85% rent increase on her rent-controlled apartment, but was too afraid to speak up about it. And so when I think about what issues bus riders are going through, I understand the critical role that public transit plays in the lives of renters and people facing housing insecurity, because it's been important to me. Over 70% of our riders earn less than $30,000 a year, and my priorities as director would be centered on improving frequency and reliability for these people. By enhancing service schedules, we can make it easier for everyone to get where they need to go on time. And for 60% of our riders, this is their only means of transportation, so it is absolutely critical. Accessibility is also important, and we need to make sure that our transit system works for everyone, including the elderly, the disabled, and parents with young children. And this is going to mean increasing the number of shelters and benches at our stops and ensuring that our buses are accessible to all riders. I'm running because I believe that public transit is not just about moving people from one place to another. It's about connecting our communities and linking our neighbors to jobs, school, and essential services. I am endorsed by Assemblymember Liz Ortega and the building and construction trades of Alameda County, and by 20 elected leaders in this area as well. And so I respectfully ask for your endorsement and support in this campaign so that we can continue to champion reliable bus service that will meet the needs of all of our riders.
All right, thank you, Jesse. Next we have Ellis.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to see some fellow Oxy alums in the crowd there. Hey, Warren, and Kay's here as well, and I think a few others. Hey everyone, my name is Ellis Raskin. I'm running for Santa Monica City Council. I just completed a term as the chair of the Planning Commission here in Santa Monica. I serve as an elected member of the steering committee of Santa Monicans for Renters' Rights. I've been endorsed by that organization. I serve as an elected member of the executive committee for the Sierra Club's Angeles chapter. I've also been endorsed by the Sierra Club. And in my day job, I work as a land use and housing attorney. I first got involved in politics, actually first starting out working in San Francisco for the Eviction Defense Collaborative, and then working in eviction defense work here in Santa Monica. In the Pico neighborhood where I live, there are dozens of families who are being priced out every single day. One of the first successes we had was when I was working with Ambriz to save 19 rent-controlled apartments that were at threat of displacement here in the Pico neighborhood. Today, I've been working with stakeholders in Santa Monica to strengthen renter protections, to fight evictions, to give a right to return for the families who were displaced by the construction of the freeway that tore apart our neighborhoods here in Santa Monica, and to make sure that renters have meaningful protections from things like rent evictions, from landlords who are speculating on properties. I'm not kidding when I say that in Santa Monica, we are up against a conservative majority of council members who are threatening to do away with rent control in our city. This is a time when we should be supporting the Justice for Renters Act, reforming and repealing Costa-Hawkins, and strengthening protections for tenants. We need leaders like myself and my co-candidates up here tonight who will fight to protect tenants. Like I said, I've been endorsed by Santa Monica's for Renters' Rights, the Sierra Club, the Santa Monica Democratic Party, Mayor Glenn Davis, Council members Carroll and DeRosas, Jesse Zwick, and many, many others. Thank you very much for your consideration.
All right, thank you, Ellis. And next we have Ericka, and then after that, Cari.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Ericka Lesley. I am running for city council. I am an advocate for affordable housing and for renters' rights. I have supported GS in the past. If I was going out and running I'm the current chair of the Santa Monica Rent Control Board. If I was knocking on doors and campaigning, I was also supporting GS. I'm also working currently on Prop 33, Justice for Renters. 100% believe in justice for renters. It's something that our state desperately needs. I've also been supporting our community during the pandemic by making sure that they can get their desperately needed renters. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit. Hold on one second. Desperately needed renters protections and their renters. Sorry, just a little winded. To get the monies they need for their rents, so behind rent. Also help people with their PPP loans as well, for them to access that food and other necessary resources they need. I just want to continue this work, and that is exactly what your endorsement would mean for me, because I'm already doing the work. I'm boots on the ground. I'm the daughter of 2 veterans. My mother was in the Air Force, my father was in the Navy, and I've moved plenty places. But Santa Monica was the first place that I could find as Carl's home. I was formerly unhoused, and I also am the mother. I would be the first single parent on the Santa Monica City Council if you give me your endorsement. So to provide more inclusivity on our council. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ericka. Next, we have Cari.
Hi, everybody, and good evening. Yes, my name is Cari Swenson. I am running for Salinas City Council, District 3. The reason I'm running is multiple, but in the last 2 years, I have been more involved with housing than ever been before. And I want to thank Esther for pushing me to that. I am currently serving on and a little about me, I am a renter. And I have 2 jobs. I'm an educator and I'm a business owner. So in order for me to live, I have to have 2 jobs, and it still makes it hard to rent a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. So I understand. But I've been appointed to the Housing Advisory Committee for Monterey County for the last 2 years. And on that committee, I've really learned that we are a long way away from new housing. Affordable housing, market rate housing, all that is not going to happen anytime soon. So I'm very much an advocate and will push for it. If we need rent control, we need to cap it at 3%. People cannot afford the rent. People are getting pushed out. And when we're pushed out, when our rent gets so high and the groceries are high and everything's high, we cannot be a part of the community. We cannot participate and go spend money at our friends' small businesses because we just simply don't have the money. So we need to help all the renters, and it helps everybody. It's not just renters, it even helps housing, because we all want to be a part of the economy, people that own homes. So as running for Salinas City Council, since I ran 2 years ago, I'm up and running. I'm talking to a lot of neighbors. My district has 49%, District 3 in Salinas is 49% renters. So I'm going out every weekend and talking to renters. And I'm hearing stories such as a retired lady living in a dilapidated apartment, 1-bedroom, paying $3,000 a month. And she can't afford to walk next door and go to the Y and work out. So 100% rent control until we can get more housing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cari. Next, we will have Sarah, followed by Tanya. Sarah, are you ready? We can't hear you, Sarah.
Hi.
There we go. That works.
Yes, we're good. Okay. Hi, my name is Sarah Prada. I am the Vice President of the Hayward Unified School Board, and I am running for re-election for my seat. I am a second-generation homeowner and a landlord in Hayward. And I have spoken out and advocated for renters my whole time here in Hayward, speaking out against the slumlord mentality of some of the landlords that we have been facing off here in Hayward, and bringing the voices of a lot of the students that I serve into the rooms. A few of my endorsements so far are the Hayward Education Association here, and also our one renter Hayward Council member, George Surup, and also Senator Aisha Wahab. Okay. We want our communities to thrive. We want people to stay in our cities and have roots. We want our kids to give back into the community. And in order to do that, they need to have stable, affordable housing. When it comes to Hayward Unified School District, we are one of the largest landowners in the city of Hayward. We have properties that are currently not being used that we're trying to figure out what to do with. A few of the solutions that I have given include consulting our local Native tribes and offering to return usage back to them. Also, having collaborative usage of the land, for example, having housing and educational facilities at the properties. I also support affordable co-located workforce housing instead of just selling the lots to big developers, which has been proposed. I also work with our McKinney-Vento. Oh, no. I also work with our unhoused students and families and lobby at a local and state and federal level with frequent trips to Sacramento and DC. This is very, very important to me. And I believe with your endorsement that together we can do even more to protect our most vulnerable in our communities. Sorry for going over the time.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Tanya.
Thank you for having me. My name is Tanya Letterju, and I'm running for Vallejo City Council. And I'm running to bring my expertise to the housing crisis currently happening in Vallejo, the place I've called home for over 15 years. And the support of the CanDem Renters Council signals to voters, not only in my district, but across my entire city, many of whom are renters, that I believe in and will stand up for their tenant rights, as well as fight to keep them housed and work to create a future where affordable housing is accessible to all. 70% of Solano County are rent burdened, and we have the third highest eviction rate in the Bay Area. And I'm committed to fighting for tenant rights and protection, rent control, increases in our 14-day eviction notice processes versus the standard 3-day process, as well as working with other housing agencies to reasonably ensure that tenants know their rights and assist tenants to regain their good standing status. I do this every day in the city and county of San Francisco as the CEO of the Housing Authority, where my budget is $360 million for subsidy of over 30,000 households. And we have fought to ensure that our members are kept housed and stably housed in doing some of these things. Additionally, I want to ensure that we have a seat at the table regarding BAFA and making sure that Vallejo gets some of those funds. I want to ensure that we bring in processes such as working with individuals like Catholic Charities and programs such as that will help our renters stay stably housed in the city of Vallejo. Currently, I have the endorsement of Vallejo Together, who fights for the unhoused, for the Justice Coalition in Vallejo. There are members who are supporting me. I have Assembly Member Lori Wilson as an endorser, Bill Dodd as an endorser, Malia Cohen, Fiona Ma, as well as a host of local supervisors in our county, as well as the incumbent of this city position as a city council member, Laura Mina Diaz, who is our vice mayor. So again, your commitment to endorse me is very important to the success of our city in partnership. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tanya. And next we have our other Tanya, Tanya Love.
California Renters Council. My name is Tanya Love, and I am your progressive tenant candidate.
Tanya, can you speak a little louder?
Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's very soft. Maybe hold the mic closer.
Now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tanya Love, and I'm your progressive tenant candidate for Oakland City Council at large. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a lifelong tenant and long-term tenant advocate. I worked almost 5 years in the state assembly, and the past 4 years is for Carroll Fife, helping her unseat a 2-term incumbent and serving as her chief of staff. Currently, I am also the vice chair of the Alameda County Democratic Party, and I'm an elected member of the California Democratic Party, as well as a member of the CDP Progressive Caucus. But Bay Area members of the Renters Caucus Council knows me because I've been a long-term tenants advocate and supporter of the council even since before it was established. But as a reminder, I helped advocate for rent control and just cause statewide, as well as in the city of Oakland and Alameda. I've been part of the last 2 campaigns to repeal Costa-Hawkins and have already endorsed Proposition 33 this year. And along with the other policies that Councilmember Fife has passed, I am most proud to help with limiting CPI increases to 3% and ensuring that owners fix their elevators within 24 hours and to relocate the displaced tenants. I plan to keep up that momentum in supporting the introduction of TOPA and COPA, strengthening our code enforcement department to improve the quality of life for our Oakland residents, and helping find affordable housing for our unhoused residents with ongoing services, and stopping the use of AI algorithms to facilitate rent increases. Oakland needs another strong tenant to advocate with Councilmember Fife, who is not afraid to stand up to landlords. In a city where we have landlords asking tenants to pay parcel taxes because they don't believe that we are contributing to the city, we need an at-large council member with a proven track record of being 100% behind tenants and is willing to stand up for the majority of Oakland residents. I would be honored to have your support, and let's work together to pass BAFA and to repeal Costa-Hawkins for good. So please vote for Tanya Love for Oakland City Council at large. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tanya. Next, we have Mike Van Gorder, followed by Barry.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. Hi, everybody. Housing is a human right. And to that end, I'm running for Burbank City Council, and I'm proud to announce that I've just earned this endorsement of Councilmember Constantine Anthony. I'm the co-founder of the Glendale Tenants Union. I ran a voter-led initiative for rent stabilization. I served for 2 terms as an ADEM delegate and attended what I think was the first Renters Caucus with Bonsa and Bloom back in the day. Spent 6 years as a housing insecure renter and an advocate and activist. And I've been a housing insecure homeowner for 2 years when, after 6 days of home ownership, my 7 months pregnant wife lost her job. I have my master's degree in housing from UCLA. I got it under COVID while parenting a toddler, which was a total nightmare, but a master class in multitasking. Lost my place. There we go. Tenants protections right now are being considered at present after a years-long battle behind the dais. Whether or not it's approved by the current council, it'll need to be defended, because no matter whatever modest gains we make, and I believe we're talking about rent stabilization, just cause eviction protection, relocation assistance, like all the necessaries, whatever gains we make, they're going to come under attack by the apartment owners associations. They're going to demand we unmake whatever gains they create. So after we stop that bleeding and protect vulnerable renters, we need to plan appropriately for real housing density, which is where my degree comes in. I've been a housing policy analyst with the state for 3 years. My daily job is reading housing elements, local ordinances, specific plans, and I can find the ways to streamline development and emphasize working class priced housing as opposed to the flood of luxury boxes. That's the only thing being created right now. I've made support for Prop 33 a huge part of my campaign. Costa-Hawkins is going down this year, and Prop 13 will go down before my kindergartner leaves grade school. And I'm so honored to join this slate of leaders in this room right now. This is the bench of leaders that's going to remake California for the working class. So I'm excited to join you all. Thanks for your consideration.
All right.
Yeah, I did my student thesis on Prop 13. Boo. $500 billion transfer of wealth from the state, from communities of color, from young people to older, whiter homeowners.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Next, we have Barry, and followed by Chance.
Thank you very much. And it's really an honor to speak before all of you as renters. I'm excited to listen to everyone. I've been a 20-year renter in Santa Monica. I have been supported by Santa Monica for renters' rights for the past, since 2006. I've been on the school board for 4 years, spent 9 years on the college board advocating for housing for students. I feel very grateful that we passed a bond in Santa Monica, $365 million bond to build student housing in Santa Monica. I've been a strong advocate for renters. I have a track record that shows that I've cared about renters' rights on the state level. I've been voted by my constituency in the AD 50 as an AD delegate, AD 51 twice. So my support for renters and my track record and for renters has been steadfast. I've been a vouch voice to get rid of cost of Hawkins. And in my day job, which is really interesting, I'm a CPA. So I work with landlords, good landlords that really care about tenant rights and care about keeping their properties up and stabilized. I think being on council of Santa Monica, I will bring this kind of expertise and leadership that's needed for progressive values to keep renters in their home, particularly seniors in their homes, to look at other housing, affordable housing measures along our transit area. I believe Santa Monica is a walking community. I have all this expertise. I've been endorsed by, as I said, Santa Monica for Renters' Right, Santa Monica for Democratic Club, Councilman Carroll, Councilman, let me go through it. I've been supported by many individuals. Councilperson, Councilperson Torosis, Councilperson Jesse Swick, Councilman Glenn Davis. I've been supported by Danny Zane, who's co-chair of Santa Monica for Renters' Rights, and I look forward for your support as a renter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry. Next, we have Chance.
Hey everyone, good to see a lot of familiar faces. My name is Chance Catrano, he, him, his pronouns. I am currently an elected official, former mayor here in the town of Fairfax in Marin County, and I'm running for re-election to keep up some of the good work that we started in 2020. I have been so grateful to have the endorsement and the guidance from the Renters Council these last 4 years. Together, as I've shared on a number of updates over the last couple of years, we've been able to become the first community in the North Bay to enact rent control. And we are one of the smallest communities in the country to actually establish rent control. So pretty exciting. You know, we have had some bumps in the road, specifically landlords that are, you know, very upset and have put it on the ballot did a citizens initiative to try to repeal and replace our ordinance with AB 1482, the 2019 Tenant Protection Act. And you know, we're fighting it. I'll put a link in the chat. I'm on the steering committee for the campaign. I'll be writing the ballot argument opposing the repeal so that we can save Fairfax rent control. Since we've initiated our work to pass rent control that has 75% of CPI or 5%, whichever is lower as far as a rent cap, and then real strengthening and meaningful just cause eviction protections. We've seen 2 other communities in Marin County go our same way. And we're also coordinating with the county that's standing up a task force to look at this countywide because this is the moment. In addition to doing all of those tenant protection activities, I've also been able to usher in $4.25 million to preserve our largest naturally occurring affordable housing apartment complex, 80 units, as permanent affordable housing in perpetuity, 60% of area median income. And so we're going to keep it up, all the 3 Ps this next cycle. And I'm grateful for your support and for listening to me. Thanks.
Thank you. And next we have Katie.
Hi, my name is Katie Chan and I'm running for Ambriz City Council District 4. I'm running because I want to carry on the values of outgoing Councilwoman Sasha Renee Perez, who is moving on to the State Senate. I am an elected LA County Democratic Party Central Committee member and the California Democratic Party Progressive Caucus Southern California Vice Chair. I'm running because my neighbors have been talking about how awful it has been for so long, talking about how difficult it is to find housing, to get from place to place, especially as they grow older, the Alhambra tree ordinance, and they worry about climate change. I know this because I was born and raised here and grew up talking to my neighbors about what they care about. With over 54% of our district as renters, I am committed to advocating for strong tenant protections and aim to pass rent control in the city and keep Alhambrans housed. For the past 3 years, I've been active in the Alhambra Tenants Union, canvassing apartment buildings to build renter power and assisting tenants facing eviction notices. Currently, I work as a caseworker for LA City Councilwoman Eunice Hernandez, where I advocate for tenants by filing LAHD cases, working with departments like HACLA, LAHD, and LADBS, and addressing landlord and building safety issues. We need to carry on what is happening in the city of Los Angeles and bring it to the San Gabriel Valley. Alhambra is the gateway to the San Gabriel Valley, and this is what change looks like, and this is what corporate-free leadership looks like. This is what I want to model, and this is why I'm running for Alhambra City Council. Thank you so much, and I hope to have your support.
Thank you, Katie. And next we have Forrest, and then after that, Ernesto. Forrest, are you ready?
Thank you. Yes, I am. My name is Forrest Peterson. I'm running for the Foothill De Anza Community College Board of Trustees. I have been a lifelong renter. I heard someone else mention that they grew up in an apartment, and I forget that that's something we have to talk about and remind people that growing up in an apartment is normal. My mom's a single mom, and I remember moving around. And I liked apartments better because that's where everybody lived closer together, and you had a shared playground. Playground was usually the parking lot of the street, but that's just how it was. I've been a concrete laborer. Spent almost 10 years in the concrete union, building concrete highways. I paid for my education that way. And during that time, at times I was unhoused. When you're working 16 hours a day and you don't have any place to sleep but the pickup truck, I don't know if that's exactly unhoused, but that was definitely the reality for a lot of the concrete laborers. So it's important to me about Foothill De Anza. One of the things about the district, which is just the Palo Alto and the Stanford district, is the district has a $900 million bond, which also covers housing. And that's not just housing, say, for students, that's housing for faculty, housing to contribute in the community to other public servants, teachers in the public school, firefighters, police, where they're pooling these funds together to build socially just housing to make sure that the people who do the work in the community can live in the community. So that's one of the things that's exciting to me. The other thing is that the district holds the agreement with the building trades that allows you to earn an associate's degree through the apprenticeship education program, which is a 5-year program. So then you can later on in your career go to, say, Chico State Construction Management and move into the office side of the construction world. So I've been endorsed by the Faculty Association. David Campos endorsed me. And with that, I'm looking for your endorsement as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Forrest. Next, we have Ernesto. Ernesto, are you there? We'll come back to Ernesto next. Mike, are you ready? Let's go next to Jillian.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jillian Burgos. I'm an Afro-Latina small business owner, lifelong renter, and I'm running for Los Angeles City Council District 2. So I've lived through housing insecurity, and I believe that socioeconomic inequality is the greatest problem of our time. My run was ignited after losing several family members due to failures of housing, our healthcare system, and our government in general. So I started my journey by becoming a public servant by running for the NoHo Neighborhood Council. I became the chair of Housing and Services. I was able to pass numerous community impact statements that protected renters. hosted tenants' rights workshops, and passed several grants that have fed our unhoused neighbors and grants that have given mental health care and support to and mentorship to teens. I have built relationships with community groups and mutual organizations that are already doing the work. I've advocated for renters protections like universal just cause, right to counsel, fair market rate, and Tahoe 2.0, also known as the tenant anti-harassment ordinance, sorry. My major focus will be housing as a human right. I believe that regardless of your ability to pay, you should have a roof over your head. And we need to end harmful ordinance 4118 and get our unhoused neighbors into housing with wraparound services and make sure that we support them every which way we can. I've supported justice for renters, advocated for social housing, expansion of the rent stabilization ordinance, and the start of a public bank. I'm also focused on expanding public transportation, our green spaces, and implementing unarmed crisis response. I would be only the second renter on LA City Council. I'm endorsed by our city controller, Kenneth Mejia, California Nurses Association, California Working Families Party, California Women's List, and our coalition is growing. I am the only true grassroots candidate in my race. I'm not taking any money from special interests. I'm not taking money from police, from realtors, from healthcare companies, because I only want to be beholden to the people. I know that with your endorsement that we can help to even the playing field. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you, Jillian.
This. Oh.
Sue, are you ready? Sue, are you ready?
Yes, sorry about that. I am.
All right.
Hi, my name is Sue Wilson, and I am speaking on behalf of myself. I am running for Richmond City Council in District 5. I'm also speaking on behalf of two other candidates for Richmond City Council, which are Melvin Willis, who's running for City Council in District 1, and Claudia Jimenez, who's running for City Council in District 6. All three of us are endorsed by the Richmond Progressive Alliance and a number of other organizations, in part because of our strong stance for tenants' rights. Melvin and Claudia especially have a very distinguished history of really being active advocates for tenants in Richmond. Melvin has been on staff for ACE for more years than I can count. Seems like half his life he's been on staff for ACE, and he was part of a group of people, he and Claudia actually both were part of a group of people who helped get passed in Richmond in 2016, a very important rent control and just cause eviction protection ordinance. Richmond was one of the first cities, and possibly the first city in 25 years in Richmond to pass rent control when that happened in 2016. And they were both extremely active in that campaign. I too played a very minor supporting role, much less than them, in the 2016 campaign. And then all three of us have continued to fight for tenants' protections to protect and expand them in Richmond. Most recently in the 2022 election, we all campaigned on behalf of Measure P, which provided important protections to renters by tying the possible, capping the increase capping the allowable rental increase in light of the high inflation rates that were going on in time. And so all of us have also campaigned on every recent attempt in recent years to repeal Costa-Hawkins, and we look forward to doing that again. And we're going to continue to do it until Costa-Hawkins is put in its grave. And I think that one of the things that I've learned most from working with the two of them is that so much more is possible than you can possibly believe when you organize people and really spend the time to communicate with renters and homeowners about the important role that tenant protections have in our community. I think people are starting really to realize in Richmond that, you know, we talk about things to do to prevent homelessness and address homelessness, but the most important step in that is really making sure that more people can afford to keep their house, and rent control and just cause eviction is a really huge part of that. I'm gonna stop there, but I appreciate the time, and I hope that we can have an endorsement from your organization.
All right, thank you, Sue, for speaking about yourself and the other Richmond candidates. Next, we will go to Adrian.
Thanks, Alfred. And before I even start, I just want to say thank you to everybody else. It's both very humbling and impressive listening to all the stories and all the fights and all the willingness to continue these fights at different levels of government. Adrien Nazarian, I'm a candidate for Los Angeles City Council, District 2. I've been a longtime renter. I'm an immigrant. My family arrived here fleeing war-torn Iran and Iraq in '80. When it was a lot of minority families were going through devastating times in order to survive. So I experienced family separation, living on the brink of losing everything because we just left and came here without anything. And also at a time when none of us even spoke the language well or knew the language well. So worked hard. After graduating from UCLA, I became an organizer, became a staffer, worked for several different elected officials, eventually ran for office myself, and I served in the state legislature, the state assembly for 10 years. During that time, I worked extremely hard to pass good housing bills. In my first term of office in 2014, I passed AB 2222, which was the reason why low-income housing now is required to remain in place for 55 years rather than 30 years. That was my bill. The same bill also grandfathered in rent control housing because in Los Angeles, what was happening was a lot of older homes, older apartment buildings were being destroyed to make way for market rate newer homes. And so I required, through AB 2222, required that all of the rental units remain in place. Proud to be endorsed by Mayor Karen Bass, Assemblymember Alex Lee, and Tina McKinner, Planned Parenthood, LA County Democratic Party, County Federation of Labor, Sierra Club, and Stonewall, among some, and would be honored to have your support. Thank you all.
Hey everyone, thank you, Alfred. Hi, my name is Constantine Anthony. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a current council member in the city of Burbank. Last year, I had the pleasure of serving as the mayor for the city here. And during that time, we passed the first ever tenant protections in the city's history. Burbank is 112 years old, and I got the first tenant protections passed ever. On October 1st, we will be voting on rent control. We will be voting on a rent cap, a rent registry, a full, robust rental protection system throughout the city. It has been a long, long road. 7 years ago, I campaigned on rent control in Burbank, and it was a very interesting time then, and things have only gotten worse. So we have made that effort to really push tenant protections and renters' rights all these years. A lot of the help I got was actually from a tenant organizer, one city over in Glendale. His name is Mike Van Gorder. You heard from him earlier today. He was integral in getting my rent control ballot measure onto the November 2020 ballot here in Burbank. He helped spearhead the entire movement. We went to him when we wanted to start a Burbank Tenants Union. And so we are doing something a little different this year. We're basically running on a slate. It's an interesting time. It's an at-large city, and there's 2 seats. And so Mike and I are running in tandem as folks who understand what it means to be rent burdened, to be housing insecure. I'm still a renter myself, and it is just getting out of hand. Next month, we will be looking at a minimum wage increase in the city of Burbank. So hopefully that's going to help. So tenant protections, rent control, minimum wage, all the good things. I have been endorsed by this organization twice in the past. I look forward to hopefully being endorsed by you again, and all of the great work from every single person on this call. It has been amazing to see.
All right. Thank you, Constantine. Next, we have Daniel. Daniel, are you ready? There we go. Daniel, please turn your mic on. There you go. Now we can hear you.
Thank you. First thing, I just want to start out saying that I want to say thank you to everyone for me being here. And I'm running for Carson City Council District 3. And I've been a planning commissioner, and right now I'm on the Mobile Home Park Rental Review Board, and I've been an advocate for a long lifetime. And the mobile home parks, they are nationwide being bought and turned into condos. And in my city alone, there was 21, now they're down to 17, and they are being bought just as well. They did have a rent control, but it's where I don't want to mention any names, but there's 3 council members that have been taking money from, and I'll say the corporation, Faring Capital, a multi-billion-dollar company that's buying the property and buying the mobile homes, and they will be destroying them, which they have already done. They're doing one right now, and there's 2 in the process. And I'm here to help the mobile home parks. And hopefully with name recognition, if I make it as a council member, I would be able to even help other cities as well. Because like I said, this is a nationwide crisis. And mobile homes right now, excuse me, I'm having more Zoom meetings to where they can buy the property. I'm just going to show them how, because that is what's going around the nation with some cities. And they do buy the property, and that way they cannot be sold. And I really appreciate to get you guys endorsements and hopefully to become a city council member. But I thank you all for your time very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Next, we will have Sean, followed by Phyllis. Sean, are you ready?
Yes. Can folks see and hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Hey everyone, I'm Sean Donino. I use he and they pronouns, and I spent the last decade expanding housing opportunities and working on policies related to housing access and affordability. I need to name that homelessness is a policy choice, and it's the wrong policy choice. I'm proud to be the candidate in the race with a zero displacement housing program. It's a program that's been vetted extensively by home builders and advocates alike that determines how to obtain housing growth while also making sure that residents stay housed in our community. I spent the last 5 years at the State Housing Department, HCD, where I helped plan for the construction of over 250,000 housing units. I helped launch the Housing Accountability Unit and worked to get a 222-unit project approved in West Oakland, right next to the BART station. I was incredibly proud to get the Rockridge neighborhood rezoned, a neighborhood known for a history of exclusion and racially restrictive covenants. It is now zoned for an additional 5,000 housing units, thanks to the work that I was able to do with East Bay for Everyone and other important advocates. In my current role for the city of San Jose, I lead up the Tenant Protections Program, and I believe strongly in things like the Tenants Opportunity to Purchase Act, Community Opportunity to Purchase Act. I've worked in my housing elements and work I'm doing now to make sure that there's built-in legal services for folks that need it, for tenants at risk of eviction, that we're able to preserve existing affordable housing. And, I think some of the work I did on the public outreach process is really front of mind, because we all know, we've all been in community meetings where wealthier, whiter homeowners are extremely overrepresented. And so I was proud to pen programs that, as part of my work with cities like Culver City, we were able to make sure that renters were weighted appropriately relative to their proportion of the city. And in my opinion, they should be weighted even more so, because renters need to be part of the conversation. I've been a lifelong renter. I'm a candidate in the race that will not take any super PAC money or any corporate money. And I'm really proud of my day one policies. On day one, I have an ordinance ready to re-legalize the neighborhood market, something that allows for great walkability that we unfortunately made illegal. Also going to have a separate sale of ADUs bill. Housing is a human right. Housing is reparative justice. Housing is healthcare. I'm wearing a dingbat pin to honor my LA roots. And I have a video on my page at Donino for Oakland where you can check out all my great housing pins and my platform. So yeah, excited to be part of the conversation. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Sean. And next we have Phyllis, followed by Anastasia.
Oh, hello.
It's so nice to be here tonight, and to hear so many wonderful candidates speak. I am new to this organization, and I am so appreciative of the kind of resources you offer for those of us who are concerned and involved with renter rights and protections for renters in California. I'm Phyllis Dudick. I'm running for one of two positions on the Santa Monica Rent Control Board, and have been endorsed by the Santa Monicans for Renters' Rights and Santa Monica Democratic Club. I bring a long experience in public service to this, having worked for 36 years as in public service leadership in the city of Los Angeles, including nearly 20 years in the senior community, the 6 years as a director of recreational facilities in the 600-unit low-income housing community. And I am no stranger to advocacy, because I advocated for every community I worked in with our legislators and others, and with AARP for seniors and so on. So since 2010, I've been engaged in community service in volunteerism in Santa Monica and leadership. But in 2022, I took a turn, and that turn led me to renters protections. I am a longtime renter in a rent-controlled building, but we were in an emergency. We're charter city, and we cannot change our rent control law except by ballot. And we were in trouble at that point, and we needed to make some amendments. Whoop! And I worked very hard on that, and that's how I got involved, and also engaged in organizing and assisting people, renters facing Ellis eviction. Feel very strongly about the reforms needed there, as well as passing Proposition 33.
Sum up.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Anastasia, followed by Austin.
Hi, thank you so much, Renters Council. I've been with you there since the beginning. I still have my little red sign from when we were at Cadem in the winter of 2019, 2020, before COVID, trying to get this council formed. 8+ years on the Santa Monica Rent Control Board. And I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces on this call, as our city has helped many of the jurisdictions we see represented here get rent control and develop the programs. I helped author AB 1620 last year, along with the good folks down in West Hollywood, which was the first wholesale change to Costa-Hawkins since its inception. Really proud of that. And we also had one of the only changes to the Ellis law come out of Santa Monica, and the work of our board and our staff. You know, my colleague Carroll and I, who's now on the city council, have just worked constantly for more and increased renters' rights. I'm a 19-year renter in Santa Monica, and I'm just so proud to have had the support of this organization since you've been doing endorsements. So, and I very much support Kay and Phyllis for the Santa Monica Rent Control Board. And as I make my transition to education, I am never going to stop. I've been on the Rights Council group in LA for several years, and I will continue to advocate for strong renters' rights and everything we can do up and down the state. And I want all of you to avail yourselves of the help that Santa Monica and other cities that have been doing this for a very long time can offer you. Please always turn to us. We always make sure our staff will give you every bit of help you could ever need. Please take me up on that. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Anastasia. And next we have Austin, followed by Mike.
Thank you so much, Alfred, and thank you, members of the council. My name is Austin Bruckner-Creo, he, his, him pronouns, and I am a candidate for Hayward Unified School District on the November ballot. I'm the sole non-incumbent, supported by Hayward teachers, supported by the California Young Dems, Gen Z for Change, Run for Something, LGBTQ Victory Fund, and the majority of our Hayward City Council. I am so proud to be here today because who better understands the needs of our community, of our students, than renters, than our teachers, than folks who struggle every single day to pay the bills to keep a roof over their head. I am a first-time homebuyer myself, and the only reason that I was able to obtain home ownership is through a program that nobody knows exists. I work for Alameda County. I worked there for about 10 years. It's a first-time homebuyer program that the county has spent millions of dollars to market, and they've only placed 75 folks in home ownership. I understand the barriers that folks face. As a child, I grew up living in our local parks. I grew up living in a local shelter called Fesco here in Alameda County. I understand what it's like to couch surf, to live in your car. Hayward Unified has about 500 students who do that every single day, who get up, pretend that everything is normal, and they go to school. I understand that as a school board member, traditionally housing is not viewed as a school board issue. I would disagree. We are talking about how do our students and their families afford a safe environment to live so that the way they can come to school focused and prepared to focus on their future. We need school board members that are willing to go the extra mile and advocate to our city council, to our board of supervisors, for our unincorporated residents, to really champion housing, tenant protections, minimum wage, just cause protections, and vital programs to really expand opportunities for every family. ABC, the number 4, HUSD.com. Thank you, and I'd be honored to have your support.
All right, thank you, Austin. Next, we have Mike, followed by Chris.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Moeller, and I'm running for District 3 City Council in Marina. I am a healthcare worker and a SEIU 521 member. And I am a homeowner not too many years ago. And I also own a single family home that I rent. I'm also fairly new at that. Just things that fell into place for me through a lot of hard work and taking advantage of some programs that I was able to build stuff up. That being said, I have been a renter for years before that, and I've had some pretty terrible landlords, and I understand what it's like to be under so much stress out of fear of being displaced or having your rent increase to an unsustainable level, and it's not a pleasant feeling. Your single family homes are not subject to these a lot of these tenant protections when it comes to rent, and that's just not sustainable for a lot of people to be subject to large rent increases on a whim. So I do support repeal of Costa-Hawkins because not only because of the single family home restrictions on rent increases, but I lost my train of thought. This is my first time, so I'm a little bit nervous. As far as what I feel I can do for the city of Marina, we have a lot of we have almost about 60% renters in this city of Marina. We're on the Monterey Peninsula. It's a very expensive place to live, and the entire Salinas Valley. You would think with so much land around here that we wouldn't have a struggle with housing, and yet we do. I've heard. I can't believe that's gone by so fast. I did actually have more stuff to say, but I guess 2 minutes go by fast. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike. If you have more information, feel free to drop your website in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, next we have Chris.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Barrera, and I am running for Salinas Mayor. I am a real estate agent. I'm a president of a civil rights organization, and I too am a renter. I am very inspired by all of the stories that I'm hearing tonight and all of the great work that all of you are doing. A few things that are on my platform are affordable housing, renters' rights, and I'm a huge union candidate. I am in favor of the rental registry and rental stabilization. Being a president of a civil rights organization, we receive a lot of calls regarding rental issues, unlawful evictions, rent increases, and tenant protection issues. And with every complaint that we get, we take the time to do our best to address them and use our resources to help people. Salinas is about 50% renters, and being a real estate agent, I have experienced conversations with property managers and owners about raising rents, and they do it because they can. And I think that is ridiculous. They raise the rents of seniors, farm workers, teachers, and just everybody on a consistent basis. And if they can't be responsible for of their tenants and the upkeep of their properties, then that's when government should help protect renters. Being a realtor, my own association's not even endorsing me, but that's okay because it's the right thing to do. I'm going against the status quo. I'm going against big money. Salinas is at a crossroads right now, and we need to have a mayor that can move the city forward and not take a couple of decades backwards. I would have your endorsement, and fantastic meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next, we have Barba.
Hello, KDM's Renters Caucus. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Brian Fish, but everybody calls me Bubba. I'm a community organizer. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I'm the only renter running in my race. And tonight, I'm super grateful for this opportunity to talk to you guys about my campaign for Culver City Council. My husband and I hope to have the opportunity to start a family and maybe even own one day, but that dream is quickly slipping away for a lot of people, especially our age, as housing costs continue to skyrocket across our city. I'm running to keep the diversity that makes Culver City so vibrant and to make sure that no matter who you are, how much money you make, or how you get around, you can thrive here. I've devoted my career, nights and weekends, to fostering communities that are sustainable for the future and inclusive and welcoming to everyone. I am a transportation deputy for LA County, a graduate with my master's in public policy from UCLA, and I've been deeply engaged in advocacy and volunteer work here for nearly 10 years. I served for 2 years as the vice chair of Culver City's Advisory Committee on Housing and Homelessness, where I helped bring online 73 units of Project Home Key housing and 20 units of safe parking. And when our conservative council voted to criminalize homelessness across the city, I organized demonstrations to demand that the council actually build housing instead of relying on scapegoating our unhoused residents. I also served as a co-director of the advocacy group Streets for All and helped author a bill to unbundle parking from rent for all new developments so that renters without cars don't have to pay for parking that they don't use. I have an extensive renters platform, but we need to repeal Costa-Hawkins, expand rent control in our cities, to make sure it includes single-family homes, townhomes, and condos. We need rolling rent control in Culver City. We need a right to legal counsel and a minimum evictable rent debt. And we also need to build housing. The average rent in Culver City is now $3,300, 20% higher than it is in LA City right across Venice. We've built an abysmally low number of multifamily units in Culver City, half of what West Hollywood's built, a fourth of what Santa Monica has built. Hence why our population has stayed totally flat. So I'm the only renter running, I'm wrapping it up, the only openly LGBTQ person running, and I would be the youngest person on the council if elected, and I would be honored and thrilled to have your support. Thank you so much.
All right, Alfred, if you're talking, you're muted.
Sorry. Jim, are you ready?
Yes, this is Jim Deere. Hi. Thank you for this opportunity to speak before you. I'm a new member of the organization, and I'm really looking for your support because quickly I'll tell you my background is as an elected official, but I come from a family of activists. I'm a member of the Teachers Union. I'm a retired history and government teacher with LA Unified School District. Got elected to the city council in 2001. Served for a number of years until I retired in 2016. When I went off the city council, the council members voted to weaken our rent control ordinance that we had in Carson. So people asked me to run again. I got elected city council, and one of the advocates against the rent control was the current mayor, and that motivates me. I am a civil rights activist my whole life, a renter my whole life, and I was actually have the personal experience of being unhoused because I lost my house that I was renting in Berkeley, actually Oakland Hills, with the Oakland Hills firestorm. So I started out when I graduated from UCLA and worked for an organization called Citizens Action League, which advocates for low-income and middle-income community issues. And so I have a great background in understanding how all of us need to work together to help one another and stop the greedy landlords that are really taking advantage of our renters in Carson. So I'm seeking the endorsement of the Renters Council because even though only 21% of our residents are renters in Carson, we're a unique city. We're one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the state. And we're a city that did cutting edge legal work to protect renters, primarily mobile home park issues. I personally have gone to Sacramento, got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to fly up to Sacramento to testify before state Senate committees and state assembly committees and fly back that same afternoon in order to make sure that our issues were heard. And we were able to successfully get legislation passed, eventually signed by the governor after Schwarzenegger left, to strengthen rent control issues that helped our city and throughout the state. So I think that's about 2 minutes.
Can you sum up?
I'm sorry?
We're at time. Can you sum up?
Yes. To conclude, I'm running for the office of mayor of the city of Carson. I very much would like to have the Renters Council endorsement. I'll be able to send that message to the people who are renters who may not be aware that they do have a voice throughout the state with their organization, but I want them to also know they have a voice in me in Carson, California. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your endorsement if you're willing to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Next, we will go to Ernesto.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I
We can hear you.
apologize.
We
I heard
can't
my
really
name
see
earlier.
you.
Hello?
I don't know if there's somewhere where you can go with a little better lighting.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm in a car. I apologize
Oh,
right
okay,
now.
no
So
worries.
I had to go pick up somebody. So now I'm the passenger now. But anyways, I just wanted to briefly just mention a little bit about my history. I come from a family of 6 brothers and 4 sisters. I started working since I was about 6-year-old, picking cotton, helping my parents in Texas, picking oranges, selling newspapers, shining shoes. And eventually we moved to California when I was about 19 to pick strawberries out by River Road in Salinas, California. From there, I went and I finished receiving my Associate of Arts degree at Hartnell, my BA at San Jose State University, and my teaching credential, and eventually my administrative credential. So that's a little bit about my history. When we came over here, growing up in Texas, in a 2-bedroom home, there were 12 of us, and so my eldest brother had gotten to the Marines. So when we came to California, I started, once I got my A, working as an instructional aide and also as a teacher. and I belong to the CSEA and the Ellis Altitude Association Union. Did that for about 13 years. As far as I also worked in the district office, the state and federal programs. I retired at about when I was around 58 years. And so one of the things that I've been involved in politics since I was about 15 or 16. And so when we moved up, I remember the days that John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Robert Kennedy were assassinated. So anyways, one of the big pieces is that I have been involved, been in city council and board. So I would hope I get the endorsement from the Renters Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernesto. Before we go to Igor's announcement, I will also speak as I am a candidate myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Alfred Tu. I'm running for the Berkeley Rent Board as part of the Berkeley Tenant Convention slate, along with Avery Arbaugh and Dominique Walker, who you heard from earlier, as well as Xavier Johnson, who I'll talk about in a moment as well. I myself am an architect and planning commissioner, and one of the issues I really want to focus on as a commissioner would be the issue of habitability, building maintenance, and making sure that our housing is safe and energy efficient and habitable. And a little bit about the other people on the team. Avery, who spoke earlier, labor commissioner and Cal student, has worked organizing students and workers. Dominique Walker has organized with Moms for Housing to convert corporate-owned vacant housing into homes for families. And Xavier Johnson is a tenants' rights attorney and has also worked as a congressional aide for Congresswoman Barba on housing issues. So again, we're running together for the 4 seats on the Berkeley Rent Board and would love to have your support. Thank you. All right, and now I think Igor has an announcement.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Igor Tregub, joining you from Chochenyo Lonnie Land in Berkeley, California. Now on the Berkeley City Council and the NorCal Vice Chair of the Kadem Renters Council. I am, first of all, I wanted to give a shout out to Alfred, who has been such a staunch advocate for so many renters' rights issues, including the one I'm going to talk about. I wanted to give a shout out to a bill that the Kadem Renters Council has endorsed in solidarity with hundreds of organizations and elected officials across the state, including Tenants Together, the Housing Action Coalition, East Bay Housing Organizations, Nonprofit Housing Association of Northern California, and many others. It would restore the ability of renters in multifamily housing, like me and so many of us, as well as schools, to be able to reduce their utility burden through local renewable energy tools like rooftop solar. This is a program that actually used to exist until it was taken away by the California Public Utilities Commission at the behest of PG&E and the other, SoCal Edison and the rest of the investor-owned utility monopoly. So it's a matter of equity. Even with the attack on rooftop solar over the last few years by PG&E and other utilities, single-family homeowners right now are able to utilize the rooftop solar that their own rooftop produces. But that was taken away for a lot of renters in multifamily housing and schools. This bill will restore it. It's in the Assembly Appropriations Committee, chaired by Assemblymember Bucky Wicks. Please call your assembly member this week in support of SB 1374. A fact sheet is in the chat. All clean power to the people. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And Larry also has an important update from Los Angeles.
Yeah, just for those that are not familiar with the fight we've been waging here to preserve Barrington Plaza Apartments, just wanted to inform you of a significant increase that affects the entire state. So the corporate landlord of Barrington Plaza was trying to use the Ellis Act to evict tenants from a 712 unit rent-controlled building in West LA. And they were not going out of the rental business. They were going out, they were just trying to get the tenants out to renovate the building, put in smoke alarms and renovate it to more luxury housing to bring in higher rent paying tenants. So we helped organize the tenants there, and they filed a lawsuit. We got a lot of publicity on it, and the lawsuit, we prevailed, and the judge found out that this was an illegal Ellis eviction due to the fact that they were not permanently going out of the rental business. And so it's huge because if we had not prevailed, it would have meant that landlords throughout the state could target tenants in rent-controlled housing and use the Ellis Act to evict them merely to do renovations. And so it's a landmark case, one of the biggest lawsuits, victories, in California history. It was clearly the largest Ellis Act eviction in the history of the state, and probably the largest mass eviction that was taking place in the state since Chavez Ravine, where they displaced neighborhoods to build Dodger Stadium. So this is a huge victory, and so we're going to use that victory to try and press again for Ellis reform in the state legislature. We've been trying to do that for years. Recently, Alex Lee sponsored a bill of ours and the Tenderloin Housing Clinic in San Francisco. And so we look forward to your support in the upcoming session next year to try and get rid of the Ellis Act or modify it. So thanks.
All right. Thank you for that important update. So are there any candidates who haven't gone yet? I think we got everyone, but please raise your hand in case we missed you earlier. All right, seeing none, just to give everyone an update of the next steps. So the rest of the board will also review today's meeting video, and the board will have some recommendations, and then we will send out the ballots to all of our members. There's still time to join or renew your dues. I will put the link for that in the chat. It is cademrenterscouncil.org/become-a-member. All right, once again, thank you all. Vote yes on Prop 33, no on Prop 34, and have a great evening.
Can fellow board members stay on a few minutes, whoever can?
Sure.
So we can catch up a little bit on some things.
Okay, I will stop the recording.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks,
for
everyone. Good
turning
night.
out,
Thank
guys.
you.
Very proud of
Thank
everybody.
you.
that's
Have a
great
running.
night.